Eden, or welcome to Fitting Dust. Right, today, well, I imagine the title has fooled you a little. We're not looking at pilot suits because they don't exist. We're looking at a suit you would use when piloting a vehicle. Now, this just gobsmacks me that not a lot of people do this. And no, I'm not saying I invented this. It's just good common sense. What we're doing here is we're looking at suits that you would run with equipment, modules, and fit that complement a vehicle. So in this case, this is my primary tanking suit. Now, it's actually a Republic logistics suit, so I think it's technically proto. I could be wrong, but I believe it's the proto equivalent. So I only needed level 3 to get that. In fact, what am I talking? I'm talking nonsense. I think it's the advanced. Anyway, the point here is that you basically have equipment that enables you to do certain things. So in this case, we have hacking modules. If you haven't looked at them before, think about it, because there is something quite powerful about being able to nip out of the tank very quickly, running up to a point, hacking it in about 5 seconds, then getting back in the tank, because that's what I do quite a bit of. And let's show you how we basically fit these. Now, to be honest, any logistics suit is perfectly fine. I'll start with basically the logistics M-1, which is the Minmatar 1. But to be honest, you know, as long as you've got 3 utility slots, that's kind of all you need. Everything else, you know, you don't need a tank. You don't need you know, certain things, because the vehicle around you does that. So what we've done here is we've gone with you know, something like the L1, or is it the M1? That's a pretty good one. If you have the Sever suit, that's actually not bad either. I do, from the, you know, way back the annals of time, I actually do have the Sever blueprint. So I've actually started using that again, because weirdly enough, that's actually quite a good logistics suit. Plus, it's free, so you can do quite a lot with it. But you don't have to have a logistics suit. You could just run, for example, a scout suit or an assault suit, but just have something that complements the tank. So, for example, if you're running a Caldari tank, you might want an Amarr Empire. If you're running maybe in a gang, spawn pads. Maybe you would want to have something like proximities to drop behind you when you're at, you know, a kind of, you know, gates. You know, key, I guess, flow throughs for the map. So, you know, just have a think about how to do that. Now, we're going to fit my Sever suit here, just a basic assault gun, because your gun is only an oh shit weapon. It's not a primary weapon, it's an oh shit weapon. As in, oh shit, I'm now out of my tank and I need to kill someone. So I just go with the basic one here. And what I'm fitting is spawn pads, something that you can just quickly nip out, drop, get back in. I'm going for armor rep because I generally run Caldari tanks, and in this case I was going to go with the proximities. But again, you could go with a scanner, so as you jump out your tank you could do a quick scan if you don't have one on the vehicle, to see if it's safe to hack and so on. So really, you know, there's quite a lot of, I guess, you know, options here for you as well. And what we're doing is we're fitting these ones. Now, I don't have terribly good skills when it comes to the hacking stuff. I've only got level 1. In fact, so I'm running, in this case, the militia hacking things. But even then, those two will give me about a 20% increase in hack speed, which is quite good. On my other suit, I'm actually running 3 Aurum ones, which give me, I think, you know, 15 times 3, although probably with the reduction, 25%, something like that, increase in hack speed. And it hacks stuff phenomenally fast. So I think, you know, just fit the best you can. And then in your mid slots, it's just something to help you survive that bit longer. Grenade, probably an AV isn't bad, but there we go. So that is a pretty standard pilot, or rather interim pilot fit, and it's 16k each. That's not bad. That's pretty cheap for a suit to run with a kind of, you know, 100, 200k ISK tank, or dropship, or whatever it may be. So, you know, certainly I would suggest that's not bad. Now, I generally would use some of the LP stuff from FW. That's the loyalty point stuff from Factional Warfare. And I've done that with my primary fit here. As you can see, I've got some pretty good modules on that thing. And I find that the scanner, the spawn pads, and the repper are pretty much what I use the most of. So here we go, fast forward. Not necessarily showing you footage of me using these modules. I guess it's more a case of just furthering the discussion. And I think, you know, depending on what type of tank you use also dictates the fit that maybe you have. So I actually do have a you know, Gunlogy railgun pilot suit. I do have then, or fit rather. I then also have a Madruga blaster fit, etc., etc. And it's all really around how you're going to use it. So, for example, it's also the game mode as well. So if you're going to run, for example, you know, skirmish or domination, then, you know, having a lot of spawn pads is massively useful. So that's also something I would run as well. Just an all spawn pad and all ammo pilot suit, because you're safe while you're in this thing, or you're safe-ish. You're pretty covered, and you don't need to worry about tanking. So it can become more about what do I need to do to make this fit work. And I think spawn pads are probably the key one here, particularly with this case for domination. Spawn pads is incredibly useful, or rather are incredibly useful to get the spawn, continued. Ammo isn't too bad, and I think things like scanners, again, it really does depend on the map. But the last thing you want to do is have 101 different fits based upon each map, each vehicle, each type of tactic, each turret you're using, each gang type you're using. I think really just try and build something that generally covers most of what you do, and I think I've got that with my Republic suit there, because everybody generally needs a spawn point. Scanning is something that I need because I've lost count of the amount of times I've jumped out my tank because it looked safe, and then I've been shot from behind and lost my tank and everything. So very annoying, and you give them a free tank as well, so you want to try and avoid doing that as well. But in general, I would say that the majority of what I try and do is just provide a kind of stable complement of vehicle modules. So for example, ammo, you don't necessarily need ammo, but it's always good to have a front line. I promise I didn't hit that guy on purpose, maybe a little, but I didn't, honest. And I think really what you're trying to do is just give the team the support they need. Again, spawn pads is probably the primary one here. I would say that you could get away with 2 lots of spawn pads of different types, and that way you can drop a multitude of spawn pads. From a vehicle, it's very powerful as well, because you can do it within seconds. It's very difficult to kill you unless a sniper has really got a good bead on you. Chances are they're not going to get you. Repping is probably the next importance in terms of importance, because the repping capability of a gun logi or a seeker is all based around the shield. So it's very, very important that you put some thought into that. So for example, if I often get shot into armor with my gun logi, but I have to rely upon supply depots to rep me. Now, just to be very clear on that, supply depots repair armor, just so everyone's aware of that. Only for vehicles, obviously, but just want to make sure that everybody's very, very aware of that, because I'm just still staggered about people who don't know that. So, but if there's no supply depot near, having that repair tool upon a suit in the pilot's armory is actually very useful, and it saved my ass a few times actually, because the armor on a gun logi can also be used as quite a buffer. So it's definitely worth looking at and considering. So there we go, interesting stuff. Hopefully you agree. The pilot suit, when it finally comes, I'm sure will completely negate the need for this method, but it may not. I can't imagine the pilot suit having a lot of fittings. So I think, or rather utility slots. So I think, give a consideration to the fact that having a particularly good complement of equipment will benefit your vehicle use extraordinarily. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.